One of the things I discovered today is that some of y'all need to make a decision. If you want to know what I'm talking about, then you gotta stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another rousing episode of Spill the Tea Tuesday. My name is Flossie, and I'm like the funniest, wittiest mindset coach, as well as your OG hype you up rampage queen here on YouTube. If you're getting sick and tired of not having your manifestations and you want one-on-one coaching with me, links are going to be in the description box below. Because you know what? A lot of times when I'm working with people, I help them to figure out what their holdup is, or help them to make it click, or help them to figure out what is not working for them. Because there's always something that oftentimes is figured out on the call, and many times it's more than one thing. So a lot of my clients are getting their shiznit. I'm fixing to, or I should have already by the time this video is dropped, posted some of my success stories that I've just gotten. And I'm actually thinking of also having another boot camp, thinking of having to get the shit for the holidays boot camp where you would have a recording of a class. I would actually make the recording of what I would typically hold a live class, but I'm going to have a recording of it. Then I believe there would be a question and answer live, and then 5 days a week in a Facebook group of accountability with me to help hold you accountable, to help walk you through the process where you can, get feedback on what's going on and some advice on what to do. So I'm probably going to be starting that here shortly, and links will be announced soon. But anyway, first, my calendar, because I forget. This says, you're where you fucking need to be. You're where you fucking need to be. And you know what? I agree with that. I actually do agree with that, because maybe some of y'all actually need to hear what is in this video, especially since that is what has been going up. This says, goeth and fucketh thyself. You know what? That's what we say to the 3D reality, or the people in our 3D reality that are dealing, contributing to the hood shit bullshit, that we want to have them sit down and be like, bye, Felicia's. This says, expert in the art of bitchcraft. I'm just the expert at stepping into my powers to operate in power and helping you to become, powerful masters of manifesting as you should be. This says, never too old for free fucking candy. I fully agree with that. I think that no one is ever too old to go trick-or-treating or to participate in that fun if that is something that they like to do. And this says, can we keep the dumb fuckery to a minimum? Well, yeah, can we keep the BS at a 3D to the minimum? And this is part, I guess, of the fuckery that we're going to talk about. So some of you guys need to make a decision, and you need to make a decision on whether you really want your manifestation or not. Because, I have client calls and we discuss a multitude of things, and, there's times I encounter people that literally want to sit in their victim mentality and sit in the old story no matter what. And so if that is you, and you are looking around and you feel like it has been a billion years that you've been affirming and persisting for your manifestation, and it's not coming to fruition for you, your 3D is not conforming, then you need to decide if you really want it or not, and look at what you're doing. Because on a recent call, or, and actually it's been more than one, but talking to individuals, it's like they affirm, but then they spend the rest of their time telling themselves things like, that they're not good enough for the manifestation, or, they have to meet some criteria before they, get a manifestation, or, that they're upset about what happens. Like they're staying in victim mentality about the old story. They're still angry with their specific person. They're still thinking like, how could this person treat me this way? Or how could this have happened in my life? Or they're just like always telling themselves that it's not going to happen and that everyone can manifest but them, or they can manifest everything but this one thing. And so you got to remember, folks, how manifestation works. And maybe I'll have to link up in this corner a reminder video, something to, remind you to help it click further or something of how the law of assumption works. But you have to keep in mind that your dominant thought, no matter what it is on a topic, is what you experience. So if you're always telling yourself that you can't manifest your SP, money, the job, friends, the life you want, etc., your house, that's what's going to be mirrored back to you, reflected back to you, is that dominant thought that you can't manifest that thing. And so that is what you're going to experience if that is ultimately your dominant thought on the topic. you know, you have to keep in mind that, you know, the way that I look at things is manifestation is a battle of your mind. And I'm going to I'm going to link that video here. Good Lord, I can't talk today. Link that video here so that you can have a refresher about that. You know, you have different aspects of your mind. You have the part of you that chooses the thoughts, that chooses, you know, what you're going to think. And that's the part that quite often when you're having a conversation, that's the part that you're engaging. When you are purposely thinking thoughts, that's the part that you're engaging. And then you have the ego mind that is there to protect you. It sees the 3D as real. It initially doesn't think that manifestation is a thing. It wants to protect you. And that's where, you know, a lot of that negative thinking comes from. You know, there's another part of your mind, including the ego mind, that all those negative thoughts come from. The victim mentality that you keep repeating yourself comes from. Well, you've got to assert the part of you that you fully control until, you know, your ego mind sits down, until, you know, remember, I call the ego mind Felicia when she's agreeing with you, or Foolisha when she's acting a fool and disagreeing with you and causing a bunch of havoc. But if Foolisha is giving you a bunch of rubbish about the old story, you've got to stick that story right here in the trash can and keep affirming and persisting, you know, with the thoughts that you're going to choose, the thoughts that you have the free will to choose, you're going to choose, and you're going to keep persisting in while you're telling your ego mind, that in the part of your minds that want to protect you, that's spewing those thoughts at you, you're kicking that to the curb. So it is a battle of your mind, but a lot of you guys have to decide, do you want your manifestation or not? Do you actually want it or not? Because you can't have, as Sammy says, 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Both feet have to be in. You cannot affirm for 30 minutes a day and then spend another 8 hours telling yourself you can't have it. Tell yourself that you're not pretty enough. Tell yourself that, you know, you have to have a house first, an apartment first, a car first, a better job first, you know, plastic surgery first, or a better figure first, or whatever the heck that it is that you're telling yourself that you've got to achieve or got to have before you can have SP. Don't make your manifestation conditional. Somewhere I have a video that I'll link here about you don't have to make your manifestations conditional on the other. Your SP can be in love with you right now. You can have your money right now. You can be an actress right now, have your job right now, have your house right now, have XYZ now. You don't have to have the other things, the other manifestations, in order to have another one. Typically, they're not dependent on another. They are separate. Your SP is going to love you no matter what you look like. Your SP is going to love you no matter what job you have, if that's what you're affirming and persisting, and that's what you persist in. If you persist, the SP loves me no matter what. SP thinks I'm gorgeous no matter what, accepts my job, whatever. That's what's going to be reflected back to you, mirrored back to you. If you keep telling yourself, SP is not going to choose me because of XYZ, an employer is not going to choose me because of XYZ, I can't do this because of XYZ, guess what? What is going to be mirrored back to you, reflected back to you, because that will be your dominant thought. That'll be the assumption you're creating. That's what's in your subconscious. That's what's going to manifest. So if you want your manifestation, you need to make up your mind that you actually really want it. And stop giving into the victim mentality of sitting there being upset all day long about, you know, SP rejecting you, SP leaving you, SP having a third party, you know, you not having any money, you feeling broke, you feeling like your employer doesn't like you, an employer letting you go, you getting a rejection letter for this, you getting a rejection letter for that, you not getting the apartment that you wanted, you didn't get the car that you wanted, the bank said this, all that stuff, stick it in the mother effing trash facts, because it's not serving you. Decide that you are no longer going to accept what the victim mentality gives you. Because there's a lot of people who really like to complain, and they like to complain because of the validation that they get, or the feelings that they get from having something to complain about, because everybody's coddling them, everybody's agreeing with them, their ego mind is satisfied because it's keeping them safe, but they're safe and miserable. According to, you know, the way some of their mind works. And mind's like, oh, you're safe, but you're miserable, no worries. I'm taking a deep cleansing breath because I love you guys. I love working with you guys. I want you to get your shit. But I'm telling you right now, if you are constantly sitting there thinking, I've been working on this for 2 years and I still don't have that manifestation. How dare this person or this institution or this entity do XYZ to me? And I'm never going to get what I want because of all these reasons. And I just get everything else but that. Guess what? You're going to have another 2 or 3 years of that bullshit if you continue to be in that victim mentality. Can you be in a victim mentality and manifest? I mean, of course you can. Like, you can have negative thoughts. You can have, some negative emotions, but it's where do you predominantly sit? You can have some negative thoughts because we're all going to have negative thoughts from time to time. You can feel anxious and desperate and lack, just like I said in the last video, but you don't want to operate from there and have your thoughts be constantly in that place. Why? Because you're going to experience whatever your dominant thought is. So I wouldn't worry about an occasional negative thought, but I wouldn't sit there for 5 hours a day, 8 hours a day, telling myself how I can't have it for whatever reason, or being pissed the fuck off because something happened in the 3D that upset me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago that I'm still harboring. If you are still sitting there in your anger, sadness, or grief about something that's happened 4, 5, 6 years ago, or a year ago, or 2 years ago, then you need to work harder to let go of that old story and perhaps do an FU letter and command letter if I have more room to link them there, because you are just sitting in an old story, and that is why it keeps perpetuating. That is why it's lingering in your 3D. That is why your 3D isn't changing, because you are sitting in the story and not leaving it. You've wrapped yourself up in the story and you're holding on to it like grandma holds on to her old sweater. Stop holding on to the old story and clinging to it just like grandma clings to her old sweater. Okay? Okay. You got to put it in the trash you got to put it in the trash where that shiznit belongs. You cannot continue to hold on to it and to harbor it and to identify with it and identify as a version of you that has that situation. You can't, because that's when one foot is in and one foot is out. So you've got to decide, do I want this manifestation to where I'm willing to, get out of my victim mentality? I'm going to put the old story and the emotions I associate with that in the trash. I'm going to step into my power and affirm and persist. I'm going to put the assumptions that don't work for me in the trash, like I can't have what I want, that I get everything but XYZ, or that, I have to accomplish XYZ in order to get the manifestation. And then get your shit, or just decide, you know what? I'm not going to pursue this manifestation anymore because I prefer to sit as a victim and to bitch about it constantly and to have my negative thinking more than I want that manifestation, because that is essentially what you're doing. When every day is going by that you're sitting in that negative story and that victim mentality, and you're literally not moving past it, and you're not moving forward, and you're not able to affirm and persist, you are choosing the story, and you are allowing the 3D to happen to you instead of making it happen for you, because it makes no sense to me why you, as the operant power of your reality, who could literally be, do, have anything that they want, who can step in their power at any second as a fucking operant power of their reality and put their almighty foot down and get whatever they want, would sit there in a 3D that they hate, that they're miserable in, because they don't want to let go of the old story enough in order to move forward. You don't have to let go of the desire of the manifestation. Let me be clear. This isn't law of attraction. You can still want what you want. You can still need it. You can still crave it, whatever. But what I'm saying is, let go of this victim mentality that you're clinging to, that is literally strangling the life out of your manifestation, that's causing you to have anxious behaviors, that is strangling the life out of the manifestation, that is reaffirming to you 5 to 8 hours every single freaking day that you don't have what you want, which is what? Giving you more of what you don't want. You're the operant power. Decide to be the operant power. Decide that you are going to step in that power and get that shit. Stop literally choosing to be the victim and to not be the version of you that has what you want, because it's a choice. It literally is a choice. And I tell people on the phone, and I tell them just as sternly as I am on this video, and if you need me to whack you into shape, like whip you into shape, you could also book a coaching call, because I will tell you what's up, and I will tell you to get the F out of your victim mentality and to make a choice. You can do all these things that I suggest to you, or you can sit there and not have your shit and be in a victim mentality mode. It really is up to you. But then stop the whining and complaining, because you've chosen it now. If you're going to choose it, stop the complaining, even if it's to yourself, because you've chosen it. Write yourself a big fat FU letter and command letter that your mind is under your complete and total control, that you literally know you can be, do, have anything that you want, and that you've got it, and that you are in control of yourself and you feel powerful and confident. There is no need to continue to sit in the 3D reality that you don't like. You've got to make a decision. Make the decision. Make the decision that you want. That's all I got to say. So anyway, drop any comments, questions, or concerns below because you know I always check them out. And as usual, I'll talk to you later. Bye.